Welcome to U.S. News Source Channel. Explosion sounds echoed in the territory of Crimea. Air defense systems are activated. Operations can be launched on the Kinbun Spit and the Crimean peninsulas. Intense clashes broke out on the roads leading to Crimea. Thanks to multi-directional advances, the losses of the Russian army could be much heavier. Ukrainian rocket and artillery units destroyed critical Russian military targets with accurate moves. After the sounds of explosions from the areas, flames rose into the sky. Critical aid arrives from Canada via the United States. War has now begun to progress in favor of the Ukrainian army. As the severity of the operations increases, it becomes much more difficult for Russia to compensate for its losses. Ukrainian armed forces have started to prove their superior success to the whole world with their simultaneous operations on the fronts. Aid from countries shapes the war. Thanks to the simultaneous operations launched on many fronts, the Ukrainian army achieves many successes. These successes enable Ukraine to get closer to the regions it most desires to acquire. Especially after the simultaneous and multifaceted operations launched on many fronts in recent weeks, the Russian soldiers began to have more difficulties. Thanks to the success of the Ukrainian troops in these operations, many regions were also taken back. Moreover, it is known that the most important point in these operations is to make a strategic progress. One of the most important differences of the Ukrainian troops is that they determine their moves in the strategic direction. As it is known that the southern front is of great importance for both countries. Ukrainian troops recaptured the Kherson region on this southern front thanks to their strategic advances. But the current target is the border Crimea. As a reminder, many officials from Ukraine declared that this war would end with the retake of Crimea. Strategic moves have been launched for this. According to the breaking news, explosion sounds occurred in Kinbun Spit and Crimea. It has been reported that the Ukrainian armed forces carried out successive attacks against Russian military points on the Kinbun Spit Peninsula. This region, on the other hand, is a region that must be controlled in order to advance to Crimea due to its location. If the Ukrainian troops can gain dominance over the Dnipro River and this peninsula in the south, they will be able to launch attacks from two different directions against the Russian military positions located in the south of Kherson. This may cause the Russian soldiers to be besieged and cause significant losses. At the same time, the islands on the Dnipro River in Kherson and the Kinbun Spit region are of great importance for the progress to the Crimea. If dominance is achieved in these important points, it will be a matter of time before the Ukrainian army enters the Crimea. This will cause the new front of the war to be Crimea. In order to achieve this, operations are increasing day by day. If a great superiority is achieved on the southern front, the deployment area will also increase and many Russian military points in the Crimea will come within the range of the HIMARS missile systems. In this case, the start of new operations in the region will put a lot of pressure on the Russian soldiers. Moreover, according to the breaking news, several explosions occurred in the territory of Crimea. It has been reported that the air defense systems in the region are working. According to the statements, strong explosions took place in Crimea in the afternoon. Moreover, according to the allegations, traces of anti-aircraft guided missiles were seen in the skies of Crimea. It was claimed that the cause of these explosions was caused by Ukraine. Local authorities did not make a statement. However, according to the images taken, the air defense systems in the region were activated and probably an attack was made with unmanned aerial vehicles. These explosions in Crimea, on the other hand, increased the anxiety on the Russian side. It is estimated that the Ukrainian army can start new operations on the territory of Crimea at any moment. In the past weeks, it has been reported that Ukrainian units have explored Russian military points in this region. In fact, explosions occurred at important Russian military points and military airports in the region immediately after. Reasons for targeting these military airports are known. One of Russia's biggest threats to Ukrainian territory is bombers. It is stated that the attacks on the points where these planes are located have increased, as many points have been significantly damaged by these planes. It was even reported that a significant number of Russian bombers were reduced in one of these areas. Such moves are of great importance for countries and operations. At the same time, the precise moves of the Ukrainian rocket and artillery units continue. Having hit many Russian military points and equipment with hundreds of accurate moves since the beginning of the war, these units again hit many important targets. This time, a command center of Russian troops, 2 air defense systems, 7 armored vehicles, 4 tanks and 4 artillery systems were destroyed. At the same time, Ukrainian anti-aircraft artillery destroyed 2 Russian Orlan unmanned aerial vehicles. After the explosion sounds from the regions, the smoke rose. With the hitting of each of these points and the rapid destruction of Russian military equipment, the offensive and defensive power of the Russian army is also significantly reduced. This situation also causes low morale in the Russian army. Moreover, while the Russian soldiers are experiencing decreases in their operational power with their decreasing military resources, Ukraine is getting stronger with the help from the countries. This widens the difference between the two armies even more. In this case, it becomes much more difficult to achieve success. Moreover, this time, news of aid came from Canada. Canadian Defence Minister Anita Anand announced that Ottawa will buy the NASAMS air defense system from the United States and hand it over to Ukraine for its war needs. Anand announced this news after a phone call with Ukraine's Defence Minister Oleksiy Reznikov. This is Canada's first free air defense system supply to Ukraine. In the face of Russia's brutal air attacks on Ukraine, this air defense system has destroyed Ukrainian settlements and will help protect critical infrastructure from attacks by drones, missiles and aircraft. At the same time, the Canadian Defence Minister stated that these NASAMS air defense systems have a very high efficiency index, adding that this assistance from Canada will make a significant contribution to Ukraine's defense capability. In addition, Anand stated that Canada will provide comprehensive military aid to Ukraine and support Ukraine's struggle. As a reminder, Ukraine received the first 2 NASAMS air defense systems from the United States in early November. According to the statements, the United States plans to hand over 8 more such systems. These systems provide a great advantage for Ukraine in the war. Because, thanks to these systems, many air attacks against Ukrainian lands are prevented and many points are protected. This ensures that infrastructures and military areas are not allowed to be damaged. In this way, Russia's attack efforts and the ammunition used in the attacks are wasted. Russia, which is currently dealing with many military resource problems, has to inflict greater losses when faced with such systems. In case such aids are increased and continued, Russia will have to face its losses and defeats. However, in order to achieve success in this war that has been going on for months and is still not thought to end, it has been necessary to increase the support provided by the countries. It is of great importance to increase the supply of such air defense systems and accelerate the systems that are said to be sent in order to prevent the air attacks increased by Russia. For all these reasons, the support provided by the countries is as critical as the steps taken. Moreover, every step taken on the fronts has to be taken in a much more strategic direction. Otherwise, it will be much more difficult to make up for the losses. In the following process, the decisions made must be as careful as the steps taken. In these days when the violence of the war has increased considerably, all kinds of moves should be determined in line with much more strategic goals. In the long run, the course of the war will be clearer with the support provided by the countries. Steps taken will determine the fate of the countries regarding the war. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.